Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see.
What is going on, Fox and Tenacious Fox here with our Week 2 match of the NPDL. With that, I am just going to get straight into this video. I did not watch this video or watch the replay before I did this, so I'm sorry if I'm not as great doing this post-comp as I probably should be. So he leads with the Infernape, I lead with Skarmory. I kind of thought he was just going to go for a move here, so that's why I went to the Zygarde. I just go for the 1,000 arrows here. He switches into, actually let's turn this on to slow. It's a little bit fast. He switches into the Tangrowth. I switch to my Delphox. He seeds me, and my Delphox is a real problem for him. As you guys are gonna kind of see, he switches into the Latias, and this is huge. I get the Toxic off on it. This is so huge because now I put this thing on a timer. Now it can't just, it literally can't just sit here and destroy me. So this Toxic on the Latios is huge. And here I believe I go for a Wish. Oh no, he just switches, and I go for. No, I just switch. Okay, so I switched into Skarmory. Sorry. He gets up his spikes. I'm gonna get up my rocks. Put him on a little bit of a timer, or do a little bit of damage as he switches in and out. I switch to my Zygarde, predicting the Thunder Wave, so we don't get hit by that. Now I predict the Tangrowth to come out, so I switch to Delphox. He does in fact go for the go into the Tangrowth, excuse me. And now I'm just gonna hit Fire Blast here, I believe. Or no, I go for Wish, I believe. Yeah, I do go for the Wish. And I'm gonna stay in and just hit Fire Blast. Honestly, I thought that was my best play. I get lucky, and he switches into the Dugtrio, and I just one-shot his Dugtrio. I'm honestly not certain why he switched out. Maybe because, I mean, a play for me would have been to switch out there. So I'm not totally sure why he switched out. I know he probably wanted to get rid of this Delphox because up to this point, this Delphox is really giving him trouble, and he doesn't have a lot to take it out. Now, of course, he could just set up with the Latios, which he's going to do right here, I believe. Yep. And I'm just going to Wish, and I'm going to switch out here into my Skarmory. He's going to go for the Earthquake. Obviously, we are immune to that. And he's going to take a little bit more damage. Now, I know my Skarmory can take anything he wants to throw at me, so I just, I hit Iron Head, because I know he can't do much to me. Now I'm going to switch into the Delphox. We get a little unlucky here because he does get the, he gets the Reflect up. And then, of course, he's Prankster, so he outspeeds my Delphox. But we do go for a Fire Blast and take this thing out. Now, I believe he goes into the Sneasel. Of course, I don't want to stay in here. I'm getting out. I go to the Skarmory. He goes for the knockoff, taking away my leftovers. And here, can we pause? Here, I should, he goes for a taunt, and it was kind of obvious, but I'd already shown the Iron Head, so I kind of thought he would not stay in here, because Iron Head's going to do more than enough to take this thing out. Because, well, I guess Sneasel would have, probably a Violite. No, it's not a Violite, it's Life Orb. So I go for the Toxic here, expecting him to switch out. I really did expect him to switch out. But unfortunately, he does not switch out. And this is huge because now this next turn, I'm going to go for Iron Head. But he goes for Icicle Crash, gets a crit, and he gets a flinch. So he gets, first of all, he hits the Icicle Crash, and he gets the crit, and he gets the flinch. Which is super unfortunate because that means this thing is still alive. And my Skarmory was meant to basically kill this thing. So now, that is really, really unfortunate. So I go into my Mimikyu. I'm fully expecting him to taunt here. I don't know why. I just still went with the Swords Dance. That was super obvious. But he does switch out here, and we're just going to use a Leech Life and get some of our hit points back. Now this is huge. When I saw how much damage this did with the crit, This kind of made me freak out and kind of made me hit the panic button here, because I see how much this does, and mind you, the reflect is up, and I'm really dumb. It never registered to me that the reflect is up, and this is going to be really important for later in the match. So now I'm like, okay, I can't do anything to this Tangrowth. He goes for the Earthquake. I'm pretty sure my Delphox still outspeeds. That's why he switches out here. Because I just go for the Z Fire Blast and KO this Latios. I'm certain that he thought that he would get outsped, and that's why he switched out there. But it's really unfortunate because now, I mean, I probably could have saved my Delphox here, but I assumed that I actually assumed that I got outsped. And that's why I didn't go for that. So now this thing is still around. This Sneasel is still around. I have to think that he would have gone into. Instead, if he didn't have the Sneasel, if I'd taken it out like I should have with the Skarmory, then this whole interaction would not have happened, and this could have potentially been a 4 or 5-0. But he does go for the Icicle Crash there. I just go for the SD. Probably should have just taken this thing out. He goes for the Ice Shard and takes himself out. Now here, he goes into his Infernape. He was kind of expecting me to outspeed him, and my Gallade, if it was Jolly, it would have. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't make it Jolly. I just made it Adamant for some stupid reason, but it's Adamant. That means his Rafiki just takes me out. And here I'm kind of freaking out because I go into this Mimikyu, and I'm gonna go for a SD, I believe. No, I think I just go for the Play Rough here. Yeah, just go for the Play Rough here. And then the next turn, I'm going to go for the Shadow Sneak. And now here is where I make a huge mistake. So here, I should have just hit Swords Dance and finished him off with this Mimikyu. But because the crit was playing back in my head from earlier, and I didn't realize that the Reflect was up, and so now I'm like, oh my gosh, this Mimikyu cannot do enough damage to this thing to take it out. So I'm kind of freaking out. That does 27%. If I just SD here, that does 54%, and I heal enough to take this thing out. But right now, I'm just so freaking out that I'm gonna throw this match. I go into the Electivire to get rid of the Leech Seed. He goes for the Giga Drain, getting yet more HP back. And now I'm sitting here thinking, alright, how can I win this game? Okay, I've got to drain this thing down enough where I can just outrage it and kill it. For whatever reason, I should have just gone for the ST with Mimikyu. Now, obviously here I couldn't, because he just used the Earthquake. And now I've got to get some of my health back. So I use Leech Life once. He's going to go for the Leech Seed here. And I'm going to Leech Life once again, I do believe. Yep, go for the Leech Life once more. And at this point, I'm just thinking, alright, my win con is to get this thing low enough to where Zygarde can come in and kill it with Outrage. Because my Zygarde's got enough power to do so. And we knock this thing down. And he, of course, I think he takes out my Mimikyu here. And then we're just going to go into our Zygarde. And again, this should have been a 3-0. This really should have been a 3-0. I should have gone for SD and just clean sweep with Mimikyu. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't. Go for the Outrage here, taking out the Infernape. And actually, I'm just going to turn this to normal. And I get a little bit lucky because I go for the Outrage here. And he goes for the HP Ice. I had the Yachi Berry, so it wasn't going to really do much. Then I get the third Outrage, which was kind of lucky, and I managed to take out his Tangrowth and win the match. So it wasn't as clean as I wanted it to be. The first half of the match, I played almost perfectly. It was when that Mimikyu came in against the Tangrowth the second time, I really should have gone for Sword Stance and just cleaned up with Mimikyu. So that was a huge mistake on my part, and it could have almost blown the match for me. But we did pick up the win. We got a 2-0 victory. We get our first win of the season, and that's awesome. So, if you did like this video, make sure you leave a like on the like button, and if you're brand new here, make sure you hit that sub button. Thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. Fox out.